Okay, this tutorial is to show you how to edit the graphs in my SLP Progress Monitoring Graphs. These graphs are made to go along with my SLP Progress Monitoring charts, so it has all the same data that you collect there. So there's the articulation, expressive language, so it has everything that I collect on those charts, so categories, similarities, differences, the WH questions, synonyms, antonyms, absurdities, analogies, context clues, the grammar charts, phonological awareness charts. Again, there's two separate charts for those, and following directions. So to go ahead and edit these, you're going to go to what you want. Actually, first, before you do that and edit, what you want to do is go to File, Save a Copy. I'm going to save it to my desktop just to make it easier to find. And let's pretend this is Joey B. So I usually do that and name them after the student that I'm collecting the data for, just to make it easier for myself, but you could save it whatever you want. So now that we saved it under the student's name, we're only making chart changes to those charts. You'll still have that original ones on your computer. So let's go ahead in and start with the articulation. So we're going to pretend that Joey B here is working on K and G. So what you want to do is make sure you get this 4-pointed arrow, and once you have that, you could double click anywhere in the chart, and this will come up on the top here, and you want to click on the edit data and then click on the first one, and it'll bring up this chart, and this is where you enter your data. So let's pretend for Joey B here, he was working on K word level, and I'm just going to throw out some numbers here. Let's pretend he started at 10%, went up to 20, went up to 30, went up to 40, went up to 50. Sentence level was lower, he was 5%, went up to 10%, went up to 15, went up to 20, went up to 25. Now G, let's say he was a little bit higher in G. He started at 30%, went up to 50, went up to 70, to 80, went up to 90. Sentence level, say he also started at 30, 40, went up to 75, went up to 80, and 90. Okay, so as you can see, then you just hit the X here, and your chart is filled out for you. Your graph is filled out for you. So I like these because it makes it easy to show parents the kids' progress when you're in an IEP meeting. They're looking at those IEPs. There's a whole lot of numbers in there. It gets confusing to a lot of parents. And this gives them a nice way to visualize and see the progress they made. And the other great thing about it is, let's say you really have a kid like Joey here who didn't do so great on the K's, did not meet his goal. He's still only at 50% accuracy. When a parent hears 50% in the IEP, that sounds horrible. But now when they're looking at this chart and they see, look at, he was way down here when he started at 10%. Now he's up here at 50. That's pretty good progress. So I really think it helps the parents see the progress. Alright, so now let's go into expressive language, and I'm going to show you how you could change the things in them. So again, same thing, double click, come up here to edit data. So let's say, for example, that Joey is only working on WH questions. So we're going to click on categories, right click on it, you're going to delete table rows. It's gone. You could also, if you want to delete more than one at a time, click on the first one, hit the shift button, click on the next one, hit delete table rows, and they're both gone. So now all you're left with is the WH questions. So again, you're going to just do the same thing that we did before and start in. Let's say Joey here was at 20%, then you went to 40, you went to 60, went to 70, you went to 80. And then same thing, I'm not going to fill them all out. But also, you can also change. So I collect my data quarterly, but let's pretend you don't. You collect yours monthly, let's say. So you could go in here and change this to be whatever you want it to say. So if you want to put in dates, 1/15/18, and then go to the next one, double click on it, put in 2/15/18, go to the next one, double click on it, change it to 3/15/18, go to the next one, 4/15/18, and 5/15/18. And so now you'll see down at the bottom here, you have the dates are now corresponding with the chart instead of the quarter. And now you could also add to that. So let's say you did it more times than this. You do it bi-weekly and you want to have all those points in there for the parents. So do, let's see, I have 6/1/18, 6/15/18, 7/1/18, and now you'll see that they're all represented down there. Now you also want to make sure, sometimes this happens where it doesn't automatically pull over, so if it doesn't, you want to grab it and pull it over. See how it's all highlighted now before it wasn't? You want to make sure it's all highlighted so that it comes up on the chart. It should do it for you automatically though. So that's one thing you could change. You could also, same thing, you could change these. So let's pretend you are working on totally different goals that I don't have represented here. That's fine. You could change these to whatever you want. So if you want to write in here, listening comprehension, grade 1, and listening, comprehension, grade 2. So you can see that's down there. And you go ahead. The only thing I will tell you, if you do long things like that, as you can see, it starts to run into each other. So you don't want to do too many at the bottom, or it's going to be hard to read. So you can totally edit everything. Also, even, whoops. Sometimes I will go in here because I'm handing these to the parents at the meeting, so I might put the kid's name on it. So you could just double click where it says expressive language and add Joey B's expressive language, or whatever else you want to change that to, you can make it. So you could go ahead and edit all of them. I do want to show you, for following directions is set up slightly differently than the rest of them. So what I do, same thing, edit data, is you'll see how it's different, how I have the quarters are going this way. And that's because usually I'm only working on one kind of directions with the kids. So here I'll write basic directions, one step complex directions, and then, so let's pretend that's what I was working on, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So you could see how the directions are just coming straight up. You could see it right across. And one other thing I will say is, I do recommend, if you can print it in color, I would do that, because as you can see here how like it matches up. So baseline is dark blue, you could see it. First quarter is this color, second quarter is the gray. It makes it a little easier for the parents to see it. If you don't have access to a color copier, maybe you could highlight or do something like that. And the other thing that I usually do before printing, so this was Joey, so let's say that's all Joey was working on was those directions, the articulation, and that expressive language. I just go in, highlight the slides, and just delete all the other slides. That way it just makes it easier when I go in to print. That way I don't have all this other stuff, so now only those things will print. So you'll go in, File, Print. Now I recommend making sure it's full page slides. I just think it's easier for parents to look at it that way. However, if you're really trying to save paper, you absolutely can do 2 slides to a page. That's not showing you. So you can see how it looks with the 2 sides to a page. You could even do 3 slides if you want all 3 on the same one. So however you want to do it, you just click that and then click print and you're good to go.